United States of America has a special aircraft which is known as E-3, and it is basically an AWACS, AWACS, that is the Airborne Warning and Control System. It acts as an airborne warning and control system. Now, what does it do? It basically warns its fighter jets and other bases, other areas, other equipment with respect to the danger that might be there, at the same time the targets which they can attack. So all these things is what is done by this E-3 AWACS. Now this is very important for USA in the ongoing war. This gives them a huge strength, as a result of which Iran on the other side would be finding it difficult to attack USA's jets and other missiles, etc. However, there is a twist here. And what's the twist? The twist is that Iran has actually hit this E-3 AWACS. And after the hit, and it is a confirmed news because the pictures of the damaged E-3 AWACS is coming out. So now we need to analyze as to this damage to E-3 AWACS, how much can it affect the USA's offensive against Iran, because without the presence of this E-3 AWACS, it is going to be difficult for the fighter jets, etc., to basically do their operations. It's not impossible, but these AWACS gives them warning beforehand so that they can take necessary actions. Now with these gone or these getting damaged, what is the future of this battle is what we are going to see in this video. So let's get started with the news. The news is about the ongoing US-Israel versus Iran conflict. In fact, it's basically the US-Israel unprovokedly when they attacked Iran. So then subsequently Iran now starts to defend itself against the unprovoked attack of USA and Israel. Now this is going on since February 2026. Right now, Iran is basically targeting USA's assets in the Gulf region, the bases, the military bases that USA has in the Gulf region, because that's what it is going to use to target Iran. So it is targeting back those assets. Right now, during these target, what has happened is there has come a report of damage to E-3 Sentry. The name is E-3 Sentry, and what this is an AWACS, which is, as I mentioned, airborne warning and control system. Now this, remember, is a very high valued asset. This, remember, is a very high valued asset, and at the same time you can see these are original pictures which shows that this particular thing has been damaged by, of course, Iran in this scenario. Now the question that it raises is, does this damage to AWACS affects the USA's capability of offense against Iran or not? So let us have a look at this. A few technical things about it is, for damaging this, Iran used the ballistic missiles plus swarm drones. Now what is these swarm drones? It's basically a swarm of drones, a swarm drones wherein small cheap drones attack in huge numbers. So when you are attacking in huge numbers, the defense system is confused, not just confused, it needs to fire a lot of missiles. So there are, let's say, 100 drones, you fire 150 missiles, it's not going to hit all of them. Imagine if you are attacking with one single drone, the missile can hit, problem solved. But there is a swarm of drones that are there, so it makes it difficult, and some of the drones may still make it through the defense system and hit their targets, thus damaging the target which they were going towards. So that is what they are using. So using that, they are causing damage to the US assets. What damages have been done? The AWACS aircraft has been damaged, aerial refueling tankers have been damaged, right, and some of the personnel, the United States personnel, have been injured. So this is what has actually happened. Now let's understand what this AWACS is. This is an old picture of AWACS telling you that this is in place since a long time, right? So this is basically, as I mentioned, an airborne warning and control system. It is basically an aircraft plus a powerful rotating radar dome. So you have the aircraft here and you have the powerful rotating radar dome over there. What's the range of radar? 375 kilometer plus of 360-degree coverage. That means 365 kilometer, 75 kilometer here, 375 here, 375 here, 375 here. So basically it has a radius of 375 kilometers all around where the plane actually is. Right? What are the functions? As the name suggests, provide early warning of the enemy aircraft, of the enemy missiles, of the enemy drones, so on and so forth. It does the surveillance of the airspace which you want to protect. Command and control, battle coordination. It is not just going to give you the warning, but as I said, it's going to coordinate with your own fighter jets in order to attack the enemy that might be there. Now, how does this actually work? So there will be, let's say, an enemy aircraft. With the help of the radar that it has, it is going to detect the enemy aircraft, subsequent to which there will be processing. Now I'm telling you this in detail slowly, but this happens quite immediately, instantaneously, that enemy aircraft might be there. How does the radar system detect? It throws rays, and when it comes back, you understand there is something in front. Then the data gets processed. Then the command gets transmissioned to whomsoever it should go, for example to the jet fighter planes and the pilots, and then the fighter jets to whom the command is gone, they are the ones who are going to subsequently act upon that information. Now it acts as eyes for detection, brain for decision making, because the command is going, that is what, that's an instruction, right? And the nerve system, that is the communication and coordination as well. Now, what is the strategic importance of this particular damage in the real-time warfare? Let us understand that first. In fact, with respect to not just the damage, when we understand the importance of this AWACS, then we understand the damage. So importance is basically it enables airspace confliction, target prioritization, a network centric warfare. You can understand where to hit first, what to do first, so on and so forth. And this was also used in the Gulf War of 1991, Iraq and Afghanistan wars, etc., etc. Now interestingly, interestingly, you will find that the nomenclature of war is such, the countries that are targeted, their names, by their names the wars are named, which should not be done, because every time whatever country is being targeted, that country's name is being used and being called Iraq war. That means in this Iraq war, Iraq was actually targeted. In Afghanistan, Afghanistan was targeted. Now, why are we using this name? Probably because if you use the name of the country who is attacking, who is the aggressor, who is attacking unprovokedly, you might as well have most of, or at least a lot of the wars named as USA war, and then you will not be able to distinguish, because this will then also be called the USA war, the USA war, the USA war, and the present war will also be called the USA war. So how will you differentiate? Possibly I can find that only to be the reason. There might not be other reason. But anyway, we need to find better ways to name the wars rather than naming the victims. There should be the presence of names of the perpetrators as well. Anyway, why this strike matters actually? This matters because of the scarcity of asset. It's not that USA has an unlimited supply of E-3 Sentry, right? So now it has only approximately 16 left. The fleet is aging, as I have told, it has been used since a long time. The fleet is aging. No easy replacement is present. Aging means out of the 16, maybe a couple of them may not be fully functional and only few are left, very difficult to replace, as a result of which there will be loss in the capability, which will create surveillance gaps. Maybe USA makes, or maybe USA imports, or maybe USA gets something else or uses something else, but in the short term at least there will be surveillance gap which will weaken their air dominance, right? It reduces the situational awareness in the Gulf region. Missile detection will weaken, air superiority missions will go down, joint operation coordination will be impacted. However, There is still a way out. Of course there will be, because USA's, the amount of expenditure of defense by USA is more than the expenditure done by the next 10 countries combined together. So they can use backup satellite drones, allies, they can get the help of the allies for these things. Hence the impact is significant but not decisive, and it is significant in the short term only, not in the long term, right? So short term impact is there, long term possibly not, because arrangements can be made. But Iran is actually hitting USA very strategically. The strategy that it is using is asymmetric warfare. It is basically firing low cost drones against USA's high cost assets, plus Israel, USA are required to use high cost assets to stop these low cost drones. That is why asymmetric warfare, because that's the only way Iran can compete strategically. Because if you look at the might of defense might, Iran is possibly nowhere near, not possibly, in fact definitely nowhere near. However, they are claiming that we were prepared because we know how USA's intentions are, but still, how much will they prepare? USA is the strongest defense might in the entire world, plus they have Israel with them as well. In fact, Israel is also fighting side by side, they are fighting together. So these two countries combined together, in front of them Iran is possibly nowhere close in the might. But with the asymmetric warfare strategy and strategic moves, it is hitting USA as well. Thank you.